All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Not Average Conversation. My name is Harry, and on my left, this is Hannah. And today we'll be your facilitators and homies for this conversation. Now, before we begin, we would like to know, who's your favorite artist? This could be a visual artist. We would like for you to just put the name in the chat. It could be a visual artist, a photographer. It could be a painter. It could be also, it could also be a musician. It could also be, a poet. We just want to know who's your favorite artist right now at the present moment. All right, so please let us know your answer in the chat. Hannah, would you like to share who's your favorite artist?
Yes, but first, can everyone hear us and see us? Yes. So yes, perfect, because I can't see anyone. So my favorite artist, I think, will be...
Well, mine is a photographer. His name is Vulandez. He's an artist based in Detroit, and he takes these amazing photographs of people in his environment where he grew up in the city of Detroit, and it really gives you a good insight of the life of someone who's from Detroit, and it's kind of similar to the same environment that I grew up in. So I really enjoy his work.
And mine, her name is Tessa Forrest, I think, on Instagram. She's a graphic designer, and she makes graphic design with mindfulness. And I really do love her page. So she's not like your typical visual artist. She's not a painter, but she's like a graphic designer, illustrator.
Nice. Okay, cool. Now, please, okay, we have here our favorite artist. Is a singer, Damian Rice. Okay, nice. All right. We have Felix here.
Felix Mendelssohn.
All right, perfect. Miles Johnston, painter, illustrator. I don't know who Miles Johnston is, but I will definitely look into him. All right, perfect. All right, thank you so much for sharing your answers with us. So again, before we even start with the conversation, it's important for us to first acknowledge the fact that we are on unceded territories. And for us, for me and Hannah, we were currently in Jojage, also known as Montreal. And it's important to recognize that it's historically known as a place, a gathering place for many First Nations. And it's important to also be grateful to the Ghanaian Ganaga who are taking care of this land. And we want to invite you to rethink about how did you get to this land and how can you take care of it. Now, with that being said, we want to share with you that this is your positive space. So what we mean by positive space is that it's going to be a space for you to learn, share, exchange, and we want this to be a positive experience for you. But in order to do that, we have these 5 principles of conversations. We'll create a positive environment for us to discuss and exchange with each other. And these 5 principles are: 1, we want you to be attentive. We want you to be respectful of others and their time. We also want you to avoid negative criticism and negative judgment. And that also goes to, we're also talking about negative criticism as well, okay? So we want to put that out the way and put that aside, And third, we don't want you to try to fix others with different ideas or opinion, right? And 4, we definitely want you to speak from your own lived experience. So we recommend using and starting your sentence by saying I. And 5, please keep an open mind. And also, you could speak whatever language you feel the most comfortable in. All right. So now I would like for you to just drop a yes in the chat if you can commit to these 5 principles of conversation to let everyone know that this is a positive space. All right. So if you agree to these commitments, can you just drop a yes in the comment section, please? All right. Thank you so much. That's perfect. So now this is officially a positive space, okay? And now before we continue on, like who's never was average, right? You guys are probably thinking, what do we do? So Hannah and myself, we're co-founders of Never Was Average, and basically our purpose is to drive social change through creativity and community. So we get to host and facilitate conversation like this one today. We also, create art experiences and cultural experiences, and we also produce content to really uplift the community. So this is what we're doing today. So now let's just talk about the power of art in the public space. All right. So before we do that, let's just go and do an icebreaker. You want to take it away, Hannah?
Yes. So first, if you are comfortable, you can open your video. If you don't worry, it's okay. Just want to make sure that there's like people in front of you because we can't see anyone.
We're trying to see faces,
But if you don't want, don't worry about it. You can just keep your name. So I know that we're a small group and we don't know any one of you. Well, I see you, but I don't know you. So before we start a conversation, what we're gonna do, it's like just a cool icebreaker game, super simple. So everyone can know at least the names and everyone that's in the room now. Well, not in the room here, but the virtual room. And we're gonna call it the first community room. So we will give you 5 minutes to introduce yourself to your virtual friends. And also if you have like a moment to just share who's your favorite artist that you put in the chat and the reason why. So for that, you only have like 5 minutes. And if you don't want to share, there's no pressure. Like we say, like this is a conversation, but if you're just here to listen, that's okay too. But please at least say your name, so at least we know with who we're talking about. I'm Anna, he's Ari, and then we're gonna put you in groups, 5 minutes, and then we're gonna come back. And then if there's someone after that that's willing to just present themselves, you will let you know. Good? Can I say reaction, thumbs up?
All right,
yes.
Perfect. See you in 5. All right, welcome back. Is everyone back from the rooms?
Mm-hmm.
All right, perfect. So how did it go? Did you have a good time? All right, good, perfect. Now, I got a question for y'all. So who want to share their own definition of what art is to them?
Charlotte, je ne sais pas si vous voulez partager ou pas, mais je pourrais lire ta description. Art is about making something beautiful. Definition of beauty is up to you out of our experiences as human.
Nice.
Ça, c'est une bonne définition aussi. Ça rejoint un peu qu'est-ce que Gabrielle partageait tantôt.
Yeah. Honestly, for us, art is really a creative form of expression. And like Gab mentioned earlier, I think it's something that's also personal, and there's no true definition of art that everyone can agree on, since it's such a personal thing. But I think when we think about art also, we like to characterize art as something that is disruptive, and kind of like a propelling force, and a creative expression of one of the most powerful tools that we can use to activate and trigger change. So kind of like Gab was saying earlier, it's really a tool for change and create and connect people with their emotions and what's happening around the world as well, and like she mentioned, it's really it's using your conscience. It's a conscious use of your creative imagination to express whether it's beauty, emotional power, ideas, and again, it's really a tool to express yourself. So with that being said, we like to think that, and you can see it yourself, many artists and creatives today use art to denounce injustices, right? and it contributes to the understanding of the world and its various issues, and it plays a major role in the perception of social topics by the public, right? So I think art plays a significant role in our society, and today what we want to do is just really discuss about, you know, the power of art in a public space, right? So let's do just that today.
Good. Oop. And this is like a one quote that we've, well, I don't know if you know about Ava DuVernay. She's like a filmmaker in the States. And I love this definition that she shared about art is a disruptive and propelling force. And also we know that just last year with 2020, with everything that happened, all the artists and creative were using art to share their own message or cause or stand or whatever they had in mind. So that's a cool way to think about like when we think about what is art for everyone, it's different, but you all have this, the same words for your definition. So when we talk about like art, today conversation is activisms, is the power of art in public space. And I want you to know if someone can unmute themselves and tell me what is Artivisms, if you know. I'm pretty sure you already know, but if there's like one keyword or definition that you have in mind just for yourself.
Yeah, like what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear Artivism?
Good. So, well, what is Artivism? So, I'm gonna put, for me personally, activisms, it's when you have a cause and then you do anything related to that cause to make people know about the cause, but by doing action. So basically, Artivism is like taking the art pour créer un changement sans avoir à le dire, sans avoir à faire quelque chose, just by using, by example, if you are a painter, you're going to use paint to just describe an emotion, pour prendre une position sur peu importe c'est quoi la cause qui te vient en tête, c'est quoi la cause qui te passionne. Et pour une définition plus précise, parce que pour moi, c'est vraiment personnel, mais je pense que comme peu importe que tu es un creative ou un artiste, activism art, c'est un terme qui fait en sorte que tu agis. C'est par créer des actions. You're creating art by doing action pour adresser, comme disait tantôt, tous les enjeux qui sont politiques ou les social issues. Donc, techniquement, c'est ça l'artivisme. L'artivisme, il n'y a pas une bonne ou mauvaise façon de le faire parce que peu importe, l'art, c'est très personnel. And I really think that artivism is the way to go. It's also a form of une façon de prendre position sans avoir à sortir dehors aussi. Parce que la plupart des personnes pensent qu'être activiste, c'est d'aller marcher, mais pourtant, il y a différentes façons. Et aujourd'hui, on va vraiment se concentrer sur le pouvoir des arts à créer un changement et à continuer un dialogue. Good. Est-ce que vous êtes encore là pour l'instant? Perfect. Good. N'hésitez pas aussi si vous avez des questions entre-temps. Just to let you know, you can ask any question in the meantime if you want. So pour nous, l'art contribue en grande partie à la compréhension du monde et de ses différents enjeux. For us, because since we start with Never Was Average, we always use photography or illustration to share any kind of like conversation that we want the society and the public to have. So let's say we're talking about representation. Well, we make sure that we have like some photo project about representation. So for us, that's how we take a stand on different causes. So basically, art is really like to contribute greatly to the understanding of the world and the various issues and plays a major role in the public perception of social topics. So basically, that's Artivisms. So for our first question of the night.
I hope y'all ready to speak.
Yes.
we got some tough and hard questions for y'all.
It's not that tough. Not that tough.
No, I'm joking.
So our first question for you, oh yeah, sorry, I wanted to share that about the political terrorist Bunny Onik. She also said something about like the power of using art. So public things such as mural are essential to democratic society, as they are able to evoke reflection and debate. We're going to talk about that in the few minutes after our first question, but this is a very, very powerful tool that also, I'm going to tell you after that, because we're going to show you like what we did last year, but this is like a reflection, because sometimes we forget, but like the public space is for us, and we are allowed to take it, to take space in your city or wherever you are. So think about that when you think about like doing art. It's not only on the internet, but you can also use it outside. So our first question is, can you name one artist that comes to mind when you think about activist art? Like just one artist, and it could be any artist. Musician, painter.
You can write your answer in the chat as well.
Yes. Oh, you can go. I can't see your name.
That's a great artist. Stanley, yeah. Stanley for sure.
Yeah, Shiva, you can unmute yourself.
Bensky, all right. Definitely Bensky, yeah. Banksy, sorry. Toni Morrison, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Toni Morrison, that's a good one. A writer. Yeah. Do you want to share a bit about that? That book, like all the activists today use that book to share.
Relevant.
Yeah,
it's so relevant to the time and age that we're in today.
Mm-hmm. There's many quotes like that. You can see that they're using like what she wrote back then, and to put it here in the context of like 2021 or 2020. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, classify.
Yeah. We talking about the rapper, right? Yeah, from what I know about him, he's a conscious rapper, we like to say, you know, I like to say, I mean, and yeah, and he touches on a lot of aspect of today's society, so.
Yes, thank you for sharing. I just love that, like all the names that you put in the chat and that everyone shares, like it's really like from writer to artist to illustrator to graphic design, and they all use their own, they all use art, but they're as their own, like if they're good at writing, they're gonna write a story, and then that's gonna make you think. Good. So we want to know, like, when you think about all like the artists that you just shared and in the group chat, do you believe that art can help solve social issue? I know that's like a deep question, but now we're
well, it's not that deep. I just think you know, what we like,
you have to think a bit about it.
And you know what? How about if we go into a community room again, so we could talk about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
So we're gonna give you like maybe 10 minutes. So you have time to think and then to share a bit.
And again, there's no right or wrong answers, right? We just want to know, like, do you believe that art can actually help solve like social issues? And
then we're gonna come back in 10 minutes and share it.
So what was said in your group, in your session, so do you think art can play and can help solve social causes in our society? We think that art, the reason why it could do so much for our society is because it has the power to create a dialogue on these sensitive issues. And that's the beginning of finding solutions, right? Having the opportunity to discuss about those things and, you know, just raising awareness. So this is why we believe that art can definitely, you know, create that change for us.
And we can see on social media how people use art with data to like create like an artwork. So you have all like the definition, but it's pretty. So at least that you can see it and repost and reshare. So that's a good call. So
So before moving on,
yeah.
we just had a quick question. We just want to know how many of you consider yourself or identify yourself as being an artist? All right, perfect. What medium? You could drop it in the chat. All right, perfect.
Okay, so we have music and visual and words, writing, musician.
Dancer, improv, circus. Okay.
Yes, that's good. Okay, so you have like everyone there are in touch with their creativity. So that's perfect. So can we start the game?
Yeah, for sure. So now for the next segment, we want to play a little game with y'all. You know, bring some fun into this.
Yes.
So we all know that a lot of artists and creatives are creating to share their story and also to take a stand on on a cause, right? So what we want to do for the following segment is just we want to present you artists. We're going to present you 3 artists and their artwork, and we want you to guess the cause, right? So each artist has an artwork, and just guess what cause it represents, okay? So we're gonna go with the first artist. Now the rule is this: so as soon as you know the cause, you could just drop it in the chat, right? Or you could just unmute yourself and just say it, right? It could be keywords, it could be anything, just to define the cause, okay? So is it clear for everyone? All right, let's get it.
Good. So the first artist, I don't know if you saw on Instagram, I saw this artwork on Instagram, and then I just like do some research to see who's the artist behind this beautiful, I want to say installation. It's not an artwork, but it's an installation. So his name is Nicolas Galenging. And this artwork is called Never Forget, located in the north of Palm Springs in California. Yeah, so I
all right, man.
Already
you was too fast for us.
I didn't even have the time to
got it.
You got it. But he's multidisciplinary artist and musician from Alaska. And his work often explore dialogue between of change and identity between native and non-native communities. So this is super powerful, and I want to present you a small video of 2 minutes just to know about like the artwork. So I'm gonna show you the video, and let me know if you can hear it, just in case.
Can you hear the sound?
My people have lived here since time immemorial, 15,000 plus years of connection to this place. My name's Nicholas Galanin, Yehiatzin. We are in my hometown, Sitka, Alaska. The chosen narrative of Palm Springs is one of Hollywood in a sense. California has a major history, like much of America and settler colonialism, of removing indigenous communities literally from land and place. If you look at the street names, it was a playground for Hollywood. The history of Hollywood, the sign itself, is highly problematic, which historically was real estate land advertisement for white-only communities. There's still communities deeply impacted by this.
It's a sentinel piece, and I think it really addresses one of the fundamentals about a show like this, which is in some ways taking the legacy of land art and seeing what it means today.
The sign says Indian land. It's presenting a truth that's not chosen to be told. Indigenous communities, the original stewards to this place for 10,000 years, have less than 3% of land title. The most important aspect of this work isn't actually the sign. The most important part of this work is the land that it's on and the history of who engages with that. Choosing these histories and narratives that you decide you will never forget while continually, actively ignoring the histories here. This work is trying to invite everyone to understand these histories and to participate.
All right, so now we would like to congratulate Shay and May for guesting the cause, right? Now, quick question for y'all. So what's the first thing that came to mind when you saw the artwork, the art installation, and knowing the meaning behind the art installation? So what was going on through your mind? What were you saying? What were you thinking when seeing the significance and the meaning of the artwork?
Stolen land.
Isn't it powerful, that part when he says that, you know, the Hollywood sign is so problematic, and it's something that it's kind of like part of our culture that we celebrate. Everybody wants to go to Hollywood and take a picture next to the sign, in front of the sign, but we don't even realize how problematic it is, right?
That's a good. I was wondering how many people will be comfortable taking their picture in front of that sign.
Yeah.
Because like you say, when you go to, and I'm guilty, when I went to LA, I wanted to have a picture with the Hollywood sign because you have to do it, right? But then as soon as I saw this installation, made me think of,
You know,
how, like, there's so many stories that we don't know, but the only thing that we know is that the Hollywood sign is like a tourist place, and then it's I don't know, it's like superficial, you know?
yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense,
and
but
it's just about, it tells us about, you know, knowing the history is such an important thing to do, you know, because again, you have to be critical about the things in the culture that's being passed from generation to another, right? So this is a good testament of that.
yeah, and we choose this artwork because this is another way of like taking space and being political, but by using art. Good. Oh, there's another.
All right, so now, okay, good. So for those that couldn't guess the first artwork, you have another chance just now. So let's go with the second artwork and second artist.
So the second artist is Walid Bukhari. Is a Dominican and Lebanon based in illustrator, graphic designer based in Brooklyn, New York, if I'm not mistaken. And this is the artwork that I love. I think it's beautiful. I know it's like super Instagram, like you can put it, you can do a post with that. So the weather has never been weirder. So see, they already know.
Yeah, Elise, you got it. Climate change. That was an easy one, by the way.
Yeah, that's
an
the easy. Yeah,
one.
that's the easy one. I know. But what I wanted to do is that I shared that one because we talk about climate change, and there's people that think it's true, people that think it's not true. But then I think that for him, like by using like typography and images, that's what you do. So if you want to check it out on Instagram, Walid Bukhari is like really like just a graphic designer, illustrator that just mix every single medium together to create that. And also, I'm going to share you a link after that in the chat so you can see other artists against the climate crisis that use their graphic design tool to share their messages behind like this cause that I think everyone can relate to. Maybe I can, you know what, I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can see the different artists. And the last one.
Right. This is the third chance to get it right. All right, for those that couldn't guess the first two artworks. So now this one.
So this one, the artist is Teen Adult. That's an artist based in Montreal. She does painting and graphic design. And this is like just a small picture of like the bigger art. And I love what she said about, I think that since my work is political, I am putting it out there. It creates discussion, people see it, I can change people's political view. It's the same fight, and I think it's similar. So
that one ain't
you
that.
have to guess the cause.
It's a hard
What
one,
do you
huh?
think? Beauty norm, maybe?
Okay. Maybe.
Maybe.
Emotion. Maybe. All right.
Something else?
All right, give it your best shot.
Okay, so the cause was Black Lives Matter.
BIPOC. All right, Gabrielle,
yes,
you was close.
But
close
Shiva, beauty norm, that's a good one, because Tina Dot, she also always like create around the beauty, the representation. So that's a good one too. But the main cause was Black Lives Matter. And I'm gonna show you the bigger part of that art. So I don't know if you can see, but it's called La vie des Noirs compte, Black Lives Matter. That's the mural that we did last year in July 2020. It was in Montreal on the street, St. Catherine Street. And then if you see like the art of Tina Dot is like on the letter V in the La vie des Noirs, so the first letter, that's like just like a small close-up that we took from that. So basically about the mural, so I think that for us, like we said, we're never was average, and then we really like to have like conversation like that, but also how can we use art to create more conversation with the society, right? Because here we can share it's between us, but how can we have this discussion amongst everyone in, well, we're in Quebec now. So in the summer of 2020 to fall 2020, that was like a mural, just like a ephemeral mural, like a pop-up artwork that we did. And in response to police brutality and murders throughout the years, we were approached to create an artwork in French in Montreal because we wanted to be part of the conversation, and we also wanted to reclaim the public space. St. Catherine Street is a well-known street in Montreal. It's in the downtown area also. And on July 14 and 15, we did this beautiful mural with 20 artists, Black artists in Montreal, all gender, all age. Basically, it was like one of our biggest, I think, I want to say like one of our biggest art installation.
Yeah, and I'd like to mention the fact that, you know, when it came down to really creating that dialogue with the public, we actually had the public come in and help us create this artwork, you know. So even for the letter E in the end, we had a kindergarten that showed up on one of those 2 days of production and helped us out filling that letter. And we also had close to 100 volunteers that came and helped us put that artwork together. So it was really about having the whole community together and participate in this project, this art project, to initiate the dialogue in our city.
So basically, we claimed the St. Catherine Street for the whole summer to contribute to the movement Black Lives Matter, while focusing on art, community discussion, and sharing. We wanted also to explore like our art can be used as a tool to achieve transformation in the city and just like in everywhere. And each artist, they had like the freedom to create whatever they want to create with the letter. So the main focus that the main thing that we gave them is that what's your message? Like the big cause is Black Lives Matter, but what do you want to see? What do you want to share? So that's how we did the mural. Yeah, I love that mural. And we also have the basketball court that we did after the mural in the downtown. So we were approached by an organization called Équipe RDP, also in Montreal. So what they wanted to do is like to have like a mural focusing on the youth. So the same sentence, La vie des Noirs compte, but we put it like La vie des jeunes noirs compte. So just focusing on them. And then we did like 2 mural there, and one, like, as you can see on the basketball court, we just like redid everything. And what is cool about that is that like the dialogue was not only in downtown and not only mainstream, but also like in different part of the city in Montreal, focusing on the youth. And just the fact that it was in the basketball court, I think that the like when you use art, you don't think, but art can be mixed with so many things. And this one is like the kids that come there to play basketball. So when they play, they can see art around them. So this is one of the other way that we use like the public space like as a park to have some dialogue.
Yeah, and we know that, you know, so many Black Lives Matter street mural was created in 2020, which led us to create our own in our city. But we wanted to know, did any of these Black Lives Matter murals created any or sparked any discussions around you? I don't know where you are right now located. Maybe there was a street mural that was produced in your city or in your area. Or maybe just going on social media, on Instagram, and seeing all the murals that was done across different cities. Did that spark any discussions around you? Well, for us, most definitely. And one of the conversation that that was sparked through this mural was the language issue, right? That we have here in Montreal when it comes to French, the Francophone, Anglophone. And there was this big thing about why couldn't it be Black Lives Matter like the rest of the cities across the world? And it created this big discussion around language, you know, and about how the Anglophones are also being marginalized here in Quebec, in Montreal to be specific. And that was raising, that was an opportunity again to raise awareness throughout the province, right? So that's definitely something that an opportunity that was created off the mural, because of the mural, and led to a lot of conversations.
Yeah, and there's so many like topics that came with like, basically we thought like was only like the Black Lives Matter, but then like you say, like the language and also just the area of where the street mural was located in it's called like the Village, and it's for the LGBT community. So people were not happy also about that. So it's like another way out. Can we have this conversation about like other communities in the Black communities, or just like in general? So that's another like topics that the conversation that like the mural was beyond Black Lives Matter. It was all about all the issue that we have as a society.
I think as an artist, you know, for us, it was just to create the conversation and create that dialogue, right? And then like for any artwork, then the public can decide if they like it or if they don't like it, right? But at the end, you're expressing a message through your art. And for us, our purpose, the purpose behind this mural was just to initiate a conversation and bring awareness towards things that was happening locally, right? Injustices that was happening locally, because sometimes what we like to do, we tend to say that it's all our neighbors, right? It's always, you know, that country or this country, and we tend to forget that it's happening right next to us, right? So for us, we didn't really mind the criticism, because criticism is part of, is a form of conversation, right? So we definitely, you know, we heard those criticism, and then for us, as long as people were talking, that was our mission was accomplished, you know.
Yes, and also like just like to close this mural, I think like sometimes we forget also about just the artists. Like the artists were just happy to create with other artists together at the same time. So sometimes we forget about that too. So it's also like, yes, it's a political stand to put it in French in Saint Catherine in Montreal, but it's also like a beautiful, I'm gonna say it's safe space just for artists to create together with the
Yeah,
community.
true.
So sometimes we just forget about that. So art, when we talk about like the power of art in public space, but we tend to forget about the power of art in public space with other artists like yourself. And
Yeah.
that's powerful, you know?
Yeah, and just to add on to what you just said, and to elaborate on the answer that I gave you about your question, you know, for us it was really about being intentional. So when this project came about, our main objective was, one, yes, share our message with the world, but also support the artists, because at that moment we was just in the beginning of COVID, and the artists at that given moment had, you know, basically no means of making money through their art. You know, financially they were going through a crisis, right? So we were able to, we're actually we're able to pay the artists for all the artworks that they've produced during the project. And for us, that was also something that was very important. Yes, so unfortunately, this conversation is coming to an end. It's already 7:21.
Ça passe tellement vite.
Yeah, again, you guys were amazing. We had an amazing time with you discussing the power of art. So we thank you all for joining us today and attending this virtual conversation. We hope that you feel inspired to create more art and create with more intentionality. And we hope that you learned something new today, right? And if you did, please share it with someone. And we also invite you to join us next month on May 25 at 6 p.m. Again, we'll be having another conversation. And next month, we're actually talking about social media, that, you know, and the impact of social media on our daily lives. So if that's a topic that that you would like to talk about, join us next month, and then we'll be here again to have another conversation. So on that note, we want to wish you a good rest of the day and a great week. All right. Thank you so much.